Okay, we start?
Yes, please. Bismillah.
Okay, thank you. Well, I see new people here who don't know me, so I will introduce myself. I didn't see if you have announced the topic, so I would like to talk this evening about holistic Islam and actually religion, spirituality. So I'm Belgian, I'm Els, and how I come to Islam and how I come to this subject, I will maybe introduce myself and talk about my story, how everything come together. I didn't have so much time to prepare, and yeah, I think this will be make it more clear. I am a dietitian. I studied in Belgium, and I was really interested in health and healthcare and helping people. And I always had been kind of sick and not so well, and I could help myself with my own things as I graduated as a dietitian, but still something not right. And I was always looking for another solution. When I was treating my patients, I came to the conclusion that there was another thing. I kept on studying, and I saw at the end that everything was kind of emotional, and at the end, yeah, I come to the conclusion spiritual. So I went to this way. I started to be interested in this spiritual way. I started to study religious science of mind. So religion and science together. Then I traveled to Egypt, and there I came in contact with Islam. When I was there, I was really enjoying this Islamic way, and I really fell in love with it. And I studied more, and I came really to the conclusion that I was kind of stupid, that these Muslim people were like more educated in life, and I was Western and yeah, had a nice and good education here. But when I came to Egypt, I heard these stories about Islam and how they could answer me in my search for my things and my kind of, in the beginning, fear and critics on Islam. Yeah. And but they could like give answers to everything that I say, wow, I was like, yeah, really stupid, and I didn't know all this wisdom of Islam. So I was living there. I was already doing a spiritual way. I could accept religion in a general way, to practice and to come together for the good thing. Even if you're Christian, Muslim, it doesn't matter. It's kind of coming together and connecting and doing the good thing. And I really enjoyed this, fasting also. But still, after a while, I was looking for like, I was again looking for this complete thing, this yeah, holistic way. I thought that at the end, like, there cannot be a difference between Islam and Christianity and everything. And I had more and more questions. And as I find already this holistic way in the way of food and everything in other system, I thought there must be this way also in Islam. So when I looked further, yeah, I find some Muslims know about the prophetic medicine, but this was not so known at this time. And then I did some more research. I checked internet. But this was kind of 2005, 2006. But there was little known, and on the internet, I couldn't really find anything. And until I came finally about 2011, I think, in contact with Hakim Salim in England. He was doing courses in this holistic Islam, prophetic medicine, as it calls Sufi medicine, Tib, natural medicine. It have very different names. And there I could really find the connecting the dots and everything. And But the problem was there that this Hakim Salim is a traditional Muslim, and being a Western woman, and my problem was kind of this burnout thing at the moment. I could, yeah, I could say that this was my main thing I was coming for, because everybody have his personal way and his personal kind of issues or health things. So when you do the course there, you solve your own things, own problems, you write about it, and then if you can help yourself, you can help others. At the end, he told me that my problem was spiritual. And I was like surprised that, yeah, and then what is the solution? How I know my problem is spiritual, or how he can tell me that my problem is spiritual? No, not any doctor tell you here your problem is spiritual. You have a psychological problem, you're crazy, you know, it's in the head, and this is all labeled, yeah, problem and not so nice. So I went, I asked him, what can I do? He said, yeah, you have to find a sheikh to do this, and to do this kind of ruqya or spiritual healing. And yeah, this was like how you find this on the internet. I don't think maybe now you can find it, but in this time you cannot find it. And then you have to kind of just trust it. And it's a man most of the time. As a woman, it was not my language, and I got really like, yeah, this was in England also. I come from Belgium. Maybe you have to come back. This was not so evident. So I made an appointment. Then he forget about it. At the end, I think I pray and I ask. I have to do it myself. It's not the right moment. When it have to come, it will come easy. So I go back to my Western spirituality. Look there, there are plenty spiritual teachers. So I find it, and I decide also this is my spiritual way. You cannot force it. You have to come to an answer. You have to come to the solution yourself. And what I learned is like, first, what is a spiritual problem? A spiritual problem is actually, what I understand, everything that is not a positive belief. Like in Islam, we should be like all kind of belief in Jannah, and we can be in Jannah all the time. Every time you have a belief that is not like Allah and everything and positive, against life or against your personal life, you hold yourself back. You have a spiritual problem. And it took a time also to really like understand in the Western way. They call it, you have a negative belief in general, but if I look to Islam, it's they explain it in you don't put Allah first, or you have to put yeah, it's important to always connect with Allah, and to put your vibration high, and to understand that this is the first thing to do. To become better. I came to it by an Australian woman. Actually, I had some like abusive relationships, and this was a repeating pattern. I discovered this when I came to Turkey to write my thesis about this Unani course, and to find my way in the spiritual healing. And instead of becoming better, I become worse. And I attract again abusive person. I go to my deepest point. I'm looking again for spiritual help. I start look on the internet. I come to an Australian woman who is really explaining this all very well, and talking about this self-partnering. And the way she explained it, I can understand Islam better, that yeah, Allah is one, and Allah is a jealous God, like we say in Christianity, and you don't put them first, it means you don't put yourself first, your higher self first, you're not gonna make it. You know, you're always gonna be sick or tired and everything in between. And so I started to do it again. And another thing, important thing, is that in Islam, you come here with a book, and this is your path, and this book is for you, is unique. You don't follow your book or your path, you're not going to be happy. So as long as you don't do your thing, you don't accept yourself, who you are, you're not going to be happy. And I had this kind of challenge, let's call it, that, yeah, I'm a Western woman, I love Islam, but I'm an open mind. And I started with Islam with a white page. I come with Muslims, I contact them. But in Egypt, this was very nice. These people were very educated, and I was learning. And the more I learn, the more I come to myself. And the more I come back to Belgium, then I miss it so much. I go to the Belgian communities to find again this connection and the spiritual growth and this sisterhood, which I love, and this fasting. But in Belgium, these are immigrants. These people are not so educated, and they stick more to their own traditions, and they talk more about their cultural things and their own background. They don't really have studied very well. They don't really come from real Islamic families sometimes, or the converted Muslims also. And I start to feel, I don't feel the same connection, or they start to correct me, and they start to, when I open up, I listen to them first, and we connect, we pray together, we do everything together. But when I open up and I share my ideas and my openness, many times they just like drop me like a stone. I cannot be one of them anymore. And I had like many broken hearts, more from women than from men, I can say, by being so close and going for Allah. And at the end, because of difference in opinion, idea, or thinking, just being dropped like a stone. So at the end, I was coming out, like you say, as gay or lesbian or something. And this wasn't appreciated. I was really rejected, like the Prophet Muhammad in his life. And I don't know in Islam, but in Christianity, we say that you first have to be rejected by your own people, kind of thing. And yeah, this happened to me. So I was like completely lost. I loved this Islam. I had to drop it to make myself happy. I could better connect with other spiritual people who love to listen to my way of Islam and my spirituality in this, and my experience and my joy I had in Egypt and so. And but inside, something was missing, because I wanted to connect with other Muslims also. And this was, then the most happy moment came when I found the interview with you, Ludovic, in Ghent, that I say, wow, this is existing already. There are groups I can connect, because I'm educated as a dietitian, as I read plenty spiritual books, but I don't have all the knowledge about Islam, just what I had from before, what I hear and what I read from the books I can trust, but or what I like to read, but this was then not so much. So when I came in contact with you, Ludovic, this was really like, oh, okay, I can, this is existing, and it is, nice way. I just came to the point that, yes, I need a spiritual healing. At the end, my spiritual healing, I believe very much in fasting. And this was kind of inspiration I got to fast for 2 months to help with the spiritual healing. I tried it. Sorry. And then after some days, I cannot do it anymore, because I'm not in a spiritual environment. I'm around working people, not spiritually connected people, more with stress. I cannot share it with anyone. I feel alone. And then, yes, your energy just go down, you lose weight, and it's very hard to concentrate. So my next challenge was to find a group to do this, to connect with people. Like they say in Islam, you have to find your flock, your group. You don't come here alone. Allah doesn't send you here alone. You have a group on earth, like soulmates, or how you call it, light beings. And there's you have angels and other spirits, jinns, who are helping you. So you are never alone. But you have to be open to this, have to believe in this, and have to find them. How you find them? Yes, you open yourself first. You come out, and this is now one of the moments I'm coming out, like with my things, my spiritual way, my background as a dietitian, and to be all inclusive, and to connect this Unani. And in this Unani, you have Unani is so. Anybody have actually some background in Unani or any idea about Unani? Nobody? Not Ludovic? Nothing. Okay, really. So, well, I will give you a small, like, you can really go into detail. But what it is, it's a holistic system, like you have Ayurveda. Most of the people know Ayurveda and yoga, and which is rooted in Hinduism. And you have the Chinese traditional medicine. This is another holistic traditional system from an old one. These are the two main big systems we know. And in the West, we have the system based on, we don't give it a name, actually. It's our current Western medical system, who is based on Hippocrates, but who is modernized, and who is like, we still swear on the oath of Hippocrates, but what they are doing in modern medicine is very different. The best way to explain it is that in natural medicine or in holistic medicine, holistic mean to become whole as a person. And there are four kind of layers, we can say, or four elements who are important. You have a physical body, you have an emotional body, you have a mental body, and you have a spiritual body. Yeah, and all these four need to be in balance. And we can say religion is like one way to balance your spiritual way. And yeah, it's tricky, this name, religion, spirituality, to use it. What one of my Kabbalah teachers said one time is, he said, religion is spirituality with an ego. So it's kind of a way of a person who wants to teach you and guide you, and it's one way, and you can choose for it, or you cannot choose for it, or you can, but in a holistic way, it is free. Like you say, all inclusive in Islam, it doesn't matter your background, you follow your path and call it God or source or life force. It doesn't matter how you call it, but this is one of the four aspects of your life. You need to include it if you want to become balanced and whole. And you can also just call it natural, your nature. This is another very easy word. This is also why they say natural medicine. If you are natural, you are in nature, in touch with yourself, and you are connected. In modern medicine, there is more, they don't talk about these elements. The elements who are connected with these things, with this physical body, emotional, mental, and spiritual body. They tell it with earth, water, fire, and air. And with these natural elements in a combination, they explain life, diseases, being happy, being sick, or out of balance. We don't really talk about being sick. There is no sickness kind of thing. There is only being back to your nature, knowing your nature, and going back to their nature. And we are all different, we are all unique, and we all have a unique combination of these elements. So we can, and they talk also, do you have a character? And they talk and they say, this is the earth person, this is a fire person. Kind of, the earth person will be more practical and social, and fire person will be more intelligent and a thinking mind, having a thinking mind. This is like overruling. But everybody have the 4 elements. And yeah, this is the barking dog moment. Huh? I hope it doesn't count so much. I'm already sitting in my bedroom to be bored behind and not to have it so loud. So we can say that, yeah, when you kind of find a way to know what is this person like in the form of elements, not in the form, but speaking of elements. And if you know this, you can know like the problem going to be more emotional, physically, mentally, or spiritually. And of course, you listen to the person. You will know what this person needs most. And then it's up to the Hakim. We don't call it doctor, but a Hakim, which is like kind of philosopher. And I don't know in Arabic, but here in Turkey, they still call Dish Hakim, like you go to the dentist and they say Dish Hakim. So it's like really still based on this old tradition. You go to a Hakim, a philosopher, and this most of the time an older person. And this means Hakim means a person who have realized himself. He's like a perfect image and he can reflect everything back to you. In the understanding that, you know, the mirror of the ego, you don't like argue with a person, or you don't need to argue with a person, or you don't need to say something. Your vibration, what you vibrate, is stronger than what you say sometimes, if people are open to it. And this is kind of what a normal Hakim should be, or a good Hakim should be, like a self-realized person, or should be balanced in himself, so he can reflect back on you in a nice way, of course. I need some water. Is this clear, or you have questions? Because I love questions.
Yeah, do you hear me now?
Yes, yes, very well.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, I like that very much, because I've seen the other day on the French TV a documentary about Hôpital La Salpêtrière, which is the biggest European hospital, and one of the, I mean, maybe one of the best in the world. And now some professors that there are using Chinese medicine, you know, with the key, that energy flowing all over your body, and they're studying now some cells that are specifically transmitting that energy all around all over the body. So they discover a new, from another path, they're discovering what Chinese medicine is using without really knowing why and how it came to Chinese doctors' mind, that kind of practices. But they're coming from a very scientific, very European perspective to the same conclusions, that we have to heal the entire body, including the spirit of the person, not just one organ or the other. And they're also doing some Reiki sessions, you know, about meditation, and they ask, I've seen that on the documentary, they were showing a session where everybody is in a circle in the hospital. And for example, for people who have overweight problems, you know, heart problems because they have too much fat and so on and so forth, they are making them use their own energy with their hands and passing through some parts of their body that are suffering in the hospital. So that was very interesting to see that all medicine is now slowly but surely also integrated in the Western modern, so-called modern medicine. And that also recalls when I was at the university doing the seminar for my PhD, when we were doing history, you know, of science in Turkish Ottoman Empire, and then after colonization of Western empires in Arab countries, they always describe the fact that we forgot those ideas about holistic, you know, energies in the body as something. They were describing that as something so new, so modern, so good. And now, 200 years, 300 years after colonization, we're going back to those Eastern philosophies and so on. And the third point I was thinking about when I heard you was about the weekend we did in August at the Institute here in Marseille. We invited a Reiki master, Qureshi from Pakistan, but he's living now in Norway. He's an artist, he's painting, but he's also doing Reiki sessions. And that was very interesting to see that amongst 10 people, I think he did Reiki upon 10 people there, including myself. And he was touching exactly the problem for each and every one of us. And people were so shocked. And some people were feeling a bit dizzy after the session because he told them things that were corresponding exactly to the imbalance situation that they were passing through in life at that very moment. And he never saw those people before. You know, I was the only one showing him 2 months before the session, just for one conference, just like with you, you know. And then we started talking, and we had so much to exchange that we invited him and so on. So, yeah, it's very interesting, very interesting. So much knowledge to acquire about those techniques.
Yes, yes, it's really a combination of West and East, and also to go back to the original time that, yes, we still believe that first there is spirit and there is nature, and we have to come back to our nature, to this balance. And this is the hard thing. Like at one moment, the Hakim said, the bigger the problem, the easier the solution. It's like, it's like, how can this? And it's true, because what we need most in life, or what we cannot without for a long time, is air. Yeah, most of the people don't breathe right. Most of the time, also because of emotional thing. We call it stress, but every stress is emotional. And at the end, every emotion, you have yin yang in the Chinese medicine. Every emotion is actually what is not love is fear. They make it like easier, and you have all the negative emotions. At the end, all negative emotion becomes fear, because fear is opposite of love. So you can easily explain it like that. And this is now how I come to this. I lost my my track. What you said before, or now I come to this now, or what was my point I wanted to make?
So we were speaking about merging the two traditions into one more holistic one, something scientific and very pragmatic, and something more about energetical.
Yes, now I know.
Empirical knowledge, yeah.
Yeah, and to come back to this natural state. And this is the kind of hard thing that I also realized in my life, and with many people and who are sick, tired, or we say like most of the people now are sick. We are not healthy. We cannot say we are 100% healthy or even 90%. Most of the people are sick, don't sleep well, and are tired or stressed. So to find really this basic deep relaxation, connecting with ourselves, with our higher self, to replenish, recharge ourselves, is very hard. Because we are so easily distracted. There's so many things going on. We take so much, we appreciate so much the masculine things, the logic things, the mind things, and we really ignore or have a big fight in the female energy, going back to intuition, to deep rest, and to deep intuitive, or deep bodily connection, deep bodily relaxation. Like people with problem emotionally or spiritually, most of the time in Ayurvedic medicine or in general with children, also in Chinese medicine, they will quickly say they need massage. It's like massage, you know, for problem, like yes, to calm the nervous system. And massage also in Islamic way, this or like in brother sisterhood, they're gonna be more in the tradition or before or when you go to Muslim countries, you see more that people touching each other, sitting next to go like hugging or sit together and put a hand on together. And this seems very kind of simple or stupid, but this is what we need most sometimes, and we forget this. And of course, we don't always have a partner. We have to do it ourselves. Our biggest nature, our biggest replenisher is the spiritual energy, but we have to bring it deep in the body, deep in ourselves. And only when we do it deep, when we really can go out of our mind, then we come to ourselves, higher selves. And then we come to sudden inspiration. We can, we really recharge ourselves, because the mind makes us tired. We have to switch off this mind. And what I discovered with myself, I heard many professional healers, most American speaking, Canada, Australian, about this really deep problem with people who are not well rested. And well rested because of triggers, stress, emotion, doesn't matter, but who cannot come to their self. And if you go back again to these traditions, Chinese, Islamic, what they do in this Islamic, now I'm talking a little bit from my Islamic Naqshbandi experience, or with Islamic groups here, what I see, what Muslim people do to come to themselves and to go out of their mind, which I was like, before I didn't accept, and now I understand, and I go look for these groups and joining them. They do the hadra and the how you call it, this trance things. Can you help me, Ludovic? What there are practices. Zikr is one of the things to calm the mind. You can do it yourself. You can do it together. I don't know if you organize hadra sometimes. You know what I mean? You do it sometimes? And now I forget. Yes, and this trance. And I realized that they use kind of music, and you see it especially also in this Moroccan, Algerian, I think also, tradition to make this music and dancing. So, and they say, you would think like, why they are not tired? Because they really like relax their mind, and they get the vibration from higher energy, from the source immediately.
And in North Africa we call it jdib.
How?
Jdib.
Jdib. I don't know this word. Yeah. And we trance. Yeah. So, and this is so important. When you are trance, you are in paradise. And if you cannot go to this state, I believe this is the biggest problem with addiction. We don't go to this state. We don't have our ecstasy naturally. We're always going to look for something outside ourselves to have it. And I see it with myself in my proper addiction for coffee and eating certain things, or even smoking. I'm not really a smoker, but I'm with people who smoke. I want to smoke also, and I can't control myself. But it's like, why come this feeling now, and why I suddenly have it, and especially also this self-sabotage, these opposite things. And if you cannot really go deep into yourself, your deep like library, your deep database where all your negative emotions are, and you cannot release them kind of in a safe way. Like when you do the trance, you are surrounded by nice people, by nice music with high vibration, in love, in bliss, in sister brotherhood. you feel safe, you know, everything is okay, and you connect all the time with the higher values, the opposite than the negative belief and the lower vibration. So like that, you charge yourself and you give it a chance to upgrade and to take out the negativity, to take out the disbelief, the tension, the small things also who are in the body. And like that, you can heal yourself in a nice way. You know, life is joy and should be happiness. And if you don't do like that on a regular basis, we hold on the stress, the little things who we think is not so much or it's not so important, but it's all sticking to us. If we don't take the time to do it, it's still there. We have to. If we want to become whole and to be our complete self, we have to take our lower vibrations out and move it to the higher vibration, to the higher beliefs and the higher values of religion, spirituality, how you call it. And this is really something I would like to organize. I'm still missing it. I cannot find really a group, or I should go to one sect or something or another country. And as you said before, I remember that Brussels is really like missing point, or they miss really like a center or something. There's like nothing there, or not too much happening there in this all-inclusive things or Islamic way. Maybe this is different now. I don't know if you are connected with people there. But for me, it would be really nice to open up a holistic center, Unani center, call it, because this is all-inclusive anyway. It's for everyone. We all have a body, a mind, and it works the same way. Yeah. So like that, everybody is welcome. We don't need to focus. It's not focused on LGTB. It's just focused on everyone. Everyone is, you know, it is all inclusive. If you see it the natural way, there is no exclusion or anybody. And this was another thing I came to when I reflected on everything, that I say, yeah, wow, everybody, you know, we don't need to see specifically LGTB. It's all inclusive. Everybody is welcome. And it's about everybody. And yeah, there's a whole other thing. I have plenty.
If I can just add one thing. One thing about that, it's what you're talking about, going out of your mind and taking a distance with your everyday life and the prejudices that you have about yourself also is something in the manual, the manual 7 that you can have in PDF. Of course, if you don't have it, we can send it to you by email. And we have that little graph that is recalling the fact that also in Islam there is a tradition of how can I say, of separating between Islam as a practice and then ihsan and iman, iman and ihsan, which is different stages that mystics like Ibn Arabi and other scholars, Sufi scholars and so on, are talking about. When they meditate a lot, they can reach that core of themselves, the core of what they are as a human being, part of the universe as a whole, not only as a body. And Islam, how Islam is helping us to go through that path, to climb different steps of understanding unconsciousness through meditation. So meditation is not like in the West, they used to think since the 70s, you know, oh, it's so sexy to meditate because it's against stress and so on. Meditation is also, like Buddhism says, the Buddhist tradition is also teaching us the fact that meditation is also a way to change yourself and to change the world around you, not only about no stress and working more efficiently, and you know what I mean? So, and that's how we get to the connection between those different stages of Iman, Ihsan, and also the different chakras. And as a dietitian, you for sure you know that there's some some things that you can eat that's going to improve different energies, different chakras, and that's also the kind of graphs that we used for that session.
Wow. Yeah.
It's page manual 7, page 101 all the way to 103.
Okay. Super. Yes, this is really the things what interested me most, and when I talk about my experience, because I don't want to be selfish, but what I experience I can give to another person, otherwise I'm just repeating another person. And this is what I discover also. The most important thing is, like in Islam we say we are storytellers, and we also love to tell the story about Prophet Muhammad, because we learn most about his life if we talk about his story, his life, his personal experience. And it's the same with our story. But when I read your story, Ludovic, I was really like, I was moved. I start to feel like now I know you, and it made me connect with my own, because you really write it from your own feelings, with your own words. And this really make you connect with other people. You show yourself, you come out with yourself, your problems, and how you solve it. So nobody can tell you, no. Yeah, you did it. Yeah. So, and this vibration in you is so strong. Anybody, you're going to die for it, because you did it. And
that's how the Quran says. That's why the Quran says, نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص. We are telling you, O Prophet, the best stories. So it's a lot of stories in the Quran, because it's so easy to relate to the stories of the prophets, and peace be upon them, and great women also, like Maryam, an entire chapter about Maryam, how she was pregnant, and then how she was educating her child, Isa alayhi salam, peace be upon him, and so on. So that's very easy to connect to personal stories, and to get out of those personal stories ethical values, because that's what is important. Maybe it's not the story that's so important, but what is the ethical value that we have to keep out of that?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's so important. And when the more I reflect, I understand also in Unani, in traditional medicine, it's traditional for me sometimes it's too much connected with taking over a system, repeating a system. So we can learn from it, but at the end we have to find our own system. This is, we come here to be a Khalifa, a vigilant, like how you say, vigilant. I come to a Dutch word, I cannot translate it in English, but we are like a deputy from Allah here, and He gives us our book to be our own Khalifa, and this is connected with the new time age. We go, something about this from astrology. We come from the Pisces time age, which is like 2,500 years we have been in, and then came all this religion like Christianity and the last Prophet Muhammad with Islam. And then it switched over to Aquarius time age, which we are now beginning. And this Pisces is connected with religion. Then all this religion came, and then also in the Bible they say, give now the water to the pitcher, to the waterman. Waterman is Aquarius. So this is like predicted. We go over to this Aquarius time age, and in Christianity also they say like we are born also as the Son of God, and Christ is our example. So we become Christ-like, yes? And this is when we open our hearts. And then the next step in evolution history, the Prophet Muhammad comes. We don't only have the Christ consciousness, but we also have kind of, in the time age of, I can say it another, in the time age of Christianity, people were not so ready, and Jesus knows this before. Same as with Prophet Muhammad, he say like, what's gonna make the people from this after I die? Yeah, you know, and then you see what happened with churches and things, and yeah, all kinds of things happen after this prophet died. Always he died, and then these things change. But if you see the evolution from Judaism to Christianity to Islam, I find it so interesting that the sign of Judaism is a star, that and then you have the 10 commandments. You do right actions, you don't lie, you're nice, you know. And then the Christianity comes, you have the positive thinking, you have the good mindset. And then after comes the last, with the symbol of the moon, Islam. You also have the right feelings. And what is feeling? It's emotion again. And every emotion is an opportunity to grow spiritual. And we don't judge about negative or positive emotion. We say, Alhamdulillah. If we judge, we're not happy with a negative emotion, or we feel depressed or something, we are not appreciating, and we are not happy in the moment. Yeah, we judge ourselves, we put ourselves down. We never have to put ourselves down. At the end, one of the aspects also in Unani, they say that water is the strongest element. And anybody knows why? You hear this before? Water, okay. So water is connected also with the moon, with like Islam. Moon is connected with feelings. And this, you know, Ludovic, I'm sure when there is full moon, there are more lunatics, more accidents, more, you know, then the water can go, we have the spring tide, the water is moving, emotions are moving. So also the head become more crazy because you have emotion because of a negative thinking. And this ends up to a negative belief, a spiritual belief. Yeah, so everything is connected.
It's very powerful, but it's also very hard to control emotions.
Exactly.
It's a big source of consciousness, but it's harder to master. I just wanted to add one reference. When you talked about the history of religions, this is the book from Frédéric Lenoir, Petit traité d'histoire des religions. It's a great book about you know, the cycles in religions and why Judaism came before Christianism and Islam after both of them. And some historians and anthropologists talked about those cultural and religious cycles throughout human history. And we don't know why, but after 300 years, a religion tends to be more dogmatic, so they start writing books and keeping that tradition, which is very good because they keep the tradition, but at the same time they close up the tradition and their identities and their mystic explorations into one only path, which was not the project of one prophet in the beginning of one given religion. So after 300 years, Judaism, Jewish people started writing the Torah, the Old Bible, you know, the Old Testament. And after 300 years, Christians started also putting their dogma together with the Council of Nicaea. They all met 300 years something after the death of Isa, of Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, and they started talking about dogma. What is the Christian dogma? And same thing happened also with Muslims 300 years after the death of the Prophet, peace be upon him. We talked about that with your colleague, our brother Michael Privot, last week from Belgium also. Islamologist, he did a great seminar last week.
Belgium?
Yes, he is from Brussels also. And yes, and he's teaching. He's a professor at the University of Louvain-la-Neuve. He was here last week doing a seminar about imperial Islam and how Islam started digging into dogmatism also more or less 250, 300 years after the death of the Prophet. And then in the same book he says that after 1,500 years, a religion or a culture starts reforming itself. So it happened with Judaism, it became Christianism, it happened with Hinduism, it became Buddhism, and it is also happening with Islam. And nobody knows why those cycles are coming back into human histories and into human cultural histories, but it is there. It is a historical fact that we are witnessing those cycles that you were talking about, and there's different cycles overlapping, of course, and now they say that we are in the Aquarius cycle. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and you can see this. Yeah, nobody knows, but I think astrologists know this like best. They can really know these cycles, and also in Unani, you have different ways for putting a diagnose for help. You can do pulse diagnose, tongue diagnose, astrological diagnose. You know, plenty things, and astrology is not only about a day or a month, or you know, this goes in cycles, but in bigger cycles. You have Earth cycles, you have the cycles of all the planets. They have their own orbits, and one makes orbits talking about the conscious, others about the subconscious. The longer planets take longer time for making a circle, and this goes about the subconscious. And if you see the whole system, or in galaxies even, we talk about this era, like I say now, this 2,500 years, like before the Pisces area. No, what? No, sorry, I'm wrong. But you have this 2,500 kind of cycle before Aquarius. So Pisces. Now we're moving on to Aquarius. This means we become our own Khalifa, and we have to claim ourselves, come out, and claim our own connection with God, with our self, our higher self, you know, call it. But this is now, if you don't do it, you're not going to be happy, or you're going to have problem, kind of thing, especially when you are called to do this. And I want to come back to this water element again, like, and this hard part of emotional thing, and which leads most of the time to obsession or addiction also. That this water element, yeah, is the most powerful. And this is also why, if it's most powerful, it's most hard to control. Like in spiritual movies, sometimes they call it to ride the big dragon. Also in Buddhism, it's like you have to control your fire, your dragon.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
And you can do it with foods. I realized myself when I was fasting in the Islamic way that this was, wow, I was in paradise suddenly, you know. It's like, this is so nice. And I have so much time. I realized how much time I was busy with food, and really, the first time I'm fasting, how many trips I make in the kitchen looking, and this was such a ritual. Like when I relaxed, to just drink maybe a glass of water or tea, not to eat much, but just go checking. And then my mind became so free. This was like, wow, this is a wonderful system. The idea also that you don't do it alone. You and the idea that you're going to eat together with other people, and it's going to be there, or you prepare it, but you don't have to think about it all day, about food and what I'm going to drink or organize. You know it's there. This already gives such a calm mind, and this already also control this water element, huh? Because you don't drink. Yeah. You keep yourself dry. This is what my Hakim said, like, is you are like kind of a stone in the sun. You are focused, and you are like, yeah, you can only be there. You keep yourself dry, and then the mind is kind of calm. You become humble and modest, and the ego really go down. This is actually what's happening. And to talk about again this water element, how to control it better, is water is emotion. You have positive emotion, you have positive feeling, you have energy. You have negative emotion, you fight against yourself, because this connecting with a negative belief at the end with a spiritual problem. So the trick is, another thing I discovered when I started praying, and first time in Islamic way, 5 times a day, that instead of having a problem for maybe some months, weeks, days, even a year, I can say years before, I realized when you pray, After you prepare yourself for the next prayer, or you say, yeah, what you want help for, you ask help, you do your dua and everything. And then the prayer after, you come again to yourself, and then you realize, oh my God, I asked for this and I wanted this, but I completely drifted off. So here is my new chance. I pray, I connect again, and now I'm going to try again till the next prayer to do this. So, okay, next prayer is, I got myself again. And then I understand, this is kind of mechanism. I learned that, you don't do like that. You don't check yourself. You can drift off for a very long time. And if you put the time into yourself to connect again and to check yourself, to connect and to say, what I'm doing, what was I going to do? Yeah, this was like, wow. You keep, and then, you pray, you connect with your higher self, you open your heart, or you connect with a sheikh, or I don't know how you do it. Doesn't matter. You connect with all the higher vibration. For me, I was always like a big fan of Jesus and Maria Magdalene. So this then this goes very easy for me. But I realized that you're all the time in the high vibration. You just every time, of course, you go out, but it doesn't take long. It just takes the time between the prayer, you can go out. The next prayer, you go up again. And it just takes to the next prayer if you drift off. And so I only lose some hours in the worst case, but I don't lose weeks or months or, like before. So it was like, wow, this is really how well thought of. And these people telling me Allah makes a system for you because Allah have made you, have created you. He know who you are. He know what you do, what is your mistake. So if you follow this thing, it's going to make your life easier. And exactly, this made my life easier. I didn't drift off anymore. So it's like, God, I want to hold on to this. And it makes it also easier if I have other people to do it together with. Because as a Western person, you're going to tell I'm going to pray in an Islamic way and I connect myself like that. Meditating was already something, sexy you can call it, but in some circles, not everywhere. But if you're going to tell, I'm going to pray in the Islamic way also, if you pray Islamic way, the bowing in the middle is kind of yoga. You connect the head and the body. And disconnecting the heart. The energy flow in both directions. And the moment you prostrate, you put your head, the fire element, you discharge on the earth. You bow like that, you prostrate like that. You can only breathe in the belly, emotion. If you don't cry this moment, if you have a problem, I think you have a problem. You are not human, I don't know. But this position is perfect. You cannot hold emotion like that, I think. I don't know, Ludovic, your experience with other people or yourself, but this really makes, if you do like that, it's like, wow. Of course, I'm fighting sometimes myself, but at the end, it's like my only solution is I go back to the Islamic prayer, and then everything comes out. I'm calm, and this is for me how this a holistic way. It's so well thought of, and then it makes me think of the next thing.
Let me just give you another reference, maybe if I find it, because. Some people says that this is the meaning of salat is not just gymnastic, but as you said, is a connection to the universe. And there's a book from Ibn Arabi, the master of masters of Sufism, called From Death to Resurrection. A very, very interesting book. And there's several books like this translated from Ibn Arabi, talking about the visions of God that you can have face to face on the carpet of meditation, talking to God face to face and discharging your negative energies and recharging positive energies. And for example, page 69, he's talking about the verse of the Quran 36-39. Et la lune, nous lui avons déterminé des stations, manazil. So the Quran is speaking here about the moon, and the energy of the moon that we can connect to also. So there's several places in the Quran where the Quran is speaking about that connection to astrology, to the moon, the sun energy, and to the earth also. And some people like Ibn Arabi in another book, I don't think it's this one, saying that Allah, when you write Allah in Arabic, it's also recalling more or less the different positions of the salat, you know. So it's not about submitting yourself to God, or I don't think that God is like created us just for us to submit to God, because God is so almighty, so God doesn't need us to, you know, bound. But it's really about our own energy, you know, our own breathing in and out, connected to different elements, you know, the sky and then yourself and then the earth, as you said. So this is completely part of the Islamic tradition, even though traditionally it's not put forward, because that's part of our heritage that we forgot. For 1,000 years we're not talking about that anymore. And even then, when they talked about that, masters like him and Hallaj, which is also a big Sufi scholar, but he has been beheaded and crucified and killed because he was saying things that people didn't understand at that time. So masters of Sufism like Ibn Arabi, who came after him, learned how to teach some things to some people only, because some people are not ready to understand all of that, you know. But it's definitely part of the Islamic heritage. Yes.
Yes, for me it's strange. I love Islam and I want to know more, but I don't find so many people, so I learn it like in another way, and then I try to find it in the Islamic way. I do the opposite many times. And like you say now, these people, and the problem, these books are written in Farsi or in Arabic. I cannot do it. I don't have this level, but they exist in other languages from other traditions, like the Ayurvedic tradition also. And now many new messengers who, like you say, there are not many people. You just need the people who understand you in your vibration, and the other people you don't care about. And another thing, how I understand this prayer and why you do it, certainly not for God. He doesn't need us. We are a reflection of him. He thinks back on us, like, how can I improve my system, my human beings, my creation? So we reflect on him, and it makes him think. And why we need, like you say, this prayer and this movement and this energy, because we need to replenish ourselves. We are like a mobile, or a mobile who have a charger. We don't connect. We are not charged. We have earth energy, and we have sky energy. We don't come and this means female energy and male energy. If you're man or woman, doesn't matter. And this may have to come in balance. If you do this movement, you connect also in bigger way with the earth, the female energy, with the sky, the male energy. You replenish yourself and you balance yourself. The brain, left and right become balanced. This means left and right, male, female come balanced. You can create. You are connected with the creator. And this is why you have to love yourself so much that you put yourself first. Yes, I want to charge. And what you charge yourself with is with the pure energy, the pure love and light. And if you do this, it's easy to have an example like the Prophet Muhammad. In my case, it's easier for me still to connect with Jesus. But doesn't matter. If you connect with the light source, with an example, you have like already emotion. You have the feeling for this person. You fall in love with this person. You have this like wow feeling. And then you feel all your cells. You take the time until you feel like, they call it drunk. It's not drunk. You kind of completely are out of your mind, and you fill yourself with this ecstasy kind of thing. And then you don't need anything. You are happy. You have everything.
They called it sakra. They called it sakra in Arabic. They called it sakra in Arabic. Some mystics talk about drunk, being drunk from the love of God. Yes, yes.
Yeah. So if you start to understand that if you are not in this position, you cannot kind of do anything right in the world, or you're gonna make plenty mistakes, or you are in a lower vibration. You attract lower vibration things, lower emotion, lower vibration people. Except when you are so strong and you can protect yourself, like also in Islam, you can ask for protection and you build this light. And after prayer, I remember that there was a certain tradition from the Prophet. After he prayed, he surrounded himself with light from the left side and the right side and front side. I don't know if you remember this, but I read it somewhere and I was doing it for a while. And I don't know why, but yeah, it felt good. And I was, trying out some things. But now I see it in this new spiritual practice, they do exactly the same. They put light around them, a light bubble protection, and there's like no negativity will hurt me. Like I say,
sorry, it's the traditional prayer before you go to the mosque, for example. اللهم اجعل نور أمامي ومن خلفي وعن يماني ويساري إلى آخره. So that's the traditional prayer that you say before you go to when you're going to the mosque, putting light over you. Yes.
This I don't know, but yet I know that it exists, and they say many things, and this is also another nice thing. You always prepare yourself. So this is a nice way. You put always yourself already in a high vibration because you connect with these nice words. You go there for light, for nice people, for love, for the right to hear the right things, and like that you always put yourself in a nice emotional vibration. Because you always say what you want and you don't think of what you don't want or what you don't like. Yeah. And what I understand now also, if you focus like that, your other problems will go also, because you don't think about your problem. You just feel, you connect yourself, and then a new inspiration comes. Now I want to do this. Now I want to do this. And you fill yourself with higher inspiration. You say what you want, and you put yourself in this, because words are energy, are vibration, so you attract it. And instead of worrying about what you don't want and sitting in the lower vibration and attracting more of this, because you want it, you don't want it, you think of it, you give it energy. You know this, the law of attraction. So you stay moving in these circles. So it's so important to catch yourself in this moment and to say, no, I'm not going to go there. I go connect myself. I move up my vibration in any way, doesn't matter. But I concentrate, and this is the mind. The heart tell you, I want to connect with God. This is the intelligence of the heart, and then the mind help you to concentrate. Yes, I concentrate on higher value because the heart cannot do this. Then the mind say, yeah, and this is the thing we have to learn. A strong mind means concentration on the positive and always on this positive. And to catch yourself early enough, if you're going to go negative, like, no, I don't go there. And you put yourself on higher vibration, you come to the right people, the right things, and you know, everything happen like because all the angels all the time helping you. They're waiting to help you all the time. You know this also in Islam. When I also heard about Islam, about prayer, and about all these special days, in Ramadan, they say like or another day, when you fast this day, it's like you have done 1,000 prayers like you didn't do before. It's like, wow. And it's true. It's true. You can have these things that, yeah, you make one shift and it's like you catch up like 5 years of your life. And Islam is in this way so mild and so easy. I was like sometimes like, wow, possible? We are so trained and hard, and you have to do it like that. If not, so, but Islam is different. Even you cannot do these 5 prayers. Then they say, no, you do it. You make like this in the morning and this in the evening. Or, yeah, of course, we are human, so we forget. But you do then this day of fasting. All this is forgiven, you know, and then you make up with all this. At first, I thought this is nonsense, but it makes sense. if you do it. And it's really yeah, coming back to the water element, to this positive emotion, to connect this, and to yeah, the strongest one, and to focus on this one. The heart will tell you, the mind is for the focus, and yeah, the higher, the spiritual dimension is there to guide you. And another thing is that we come from a higher dimension, from another dimension, in a human body. The biggest part of us is still there. We know this. We are connected, and we know, the soul knows that we have to go back to God. We have to go back. And some people are so courageous that they really take a difficult path and go really far away from God. And because the soul knows there's no way, the good way or bad way, you have to come back. So people who become sometimes very sick, this is like, okay, this was their way sometimes to come back. They go so far, but at the end, there are many ways. And there is no sickness. It just means you have gone a little bit too far. Now we're going to balance you back. There are herbs, there is food, there is movement, breathing exercise. You balance yourself. You give nature, your own nature, the time and everything, what it needs to balance, like this Reiki and deep calming. Go to your nature, calm yourself, the body recover itself. And this is now, we have to understand that, yes, life is easy. It's not complicated. It's not hard. We make it hard. We have made it hard in this evolution because we have been over-focused now on this male energy, this logic, these rules, and we haven't respected earth energy, female energy, intuition, and natural healing, going back to our nature. And it would be nice. I don't know how long I'm talking now.
You're talking very nice talk. I like it very much. So
really? Oh, thank you.
Maybe we can give the floor for questions or inputs.
Yes.
And you can continue. So, Alban, Yasser, would you add something? Do you have any input, any?
Alors, moi, j'ai pensé à plusieurs choses. Alors, je suis désolé, je parle en français parce que j'ai un peu de mal à m'exprimer en anglais. Enfin, je peux essayer. Mais c'est peut-être que vous pouvez traduire, Ludovic, ou tout le monde comprend?
Oui, bien sûr, bien sûr.
Moi, je comprends, oui, c'est... Ah non, c'est Yasser aussi.
Yasser. So, he said that he thought about several things.
Alors, donc moi, voilà, comme je disais, j'ai un petit peu du mal avec l'anglais à comprendre absolument tout, mais bon, je m'accroche et puis ça me fait travailler. J'ai pensé à plusieurs choses pendant votre intervention, sur plusieurs aspects. La première, c'était sur la connexion entre guillemets avec l'univers quand on est dans la prière. Je pensais justement à ce qui avait été dit dans pas mal de bouquins par des soufis, par des chirs, sur le fait que tout l'univers était contenu dans une seule sourate, la sourate Al-Fatiha, et que dans sourate Al-Fatiha, tout l'univers est contenu dans le Bismillah, et que tout l'univers est contenu dans le point qui sert à, quand on écrit le bas, le B, il y a un point dessous et tout l'univers est contenu dans ce point. Et ce qu'expliquait le shir, c'est qu'en fait, à chaque fois que on fait une prière, quelle qu'elle soit, vu on récite forcément la sourate Al-Fatiha, à chaque fois qu'on fait une prière, on est dans cette connexion avec l'univers en permanence. Et
je vais traduire. Je vais traduire ça déjà. So he said that in several books, Sufi masters traditionally talk about the fact that the entire universe is in one chapter of the Quran, described in one chapter of the Quran, which is Al-Fatiha. And in Al-Fatiha, the most important part of that universe description is Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, the first sentence of the Quran. And in that sentence, the most important part of that description of the universe is the dot that is under the first letter, which is the B, B, and then you put a dot in Arabic, and that dot is symbolizing the entire Bismillah, that is symbolizing the entire Fatiha, that is symbolizing the entire universe.
Et puis, je pensais à autre chose en même temps. Ce même shir expliquait, alors il montrait que quand on fait la prière, vous savez, on commence debout, en station debout, les mains bien croisées, et puis on s'incline une première fois, enfin on se relève, et ensuite, comme vous l'avez dit d'ailleurs, on se prosterne et la tête vient toucher le sol. Et il expliquait que la première position de la prière pouvait s'apparenter au Aleph, le A, droit. Enfin, quand on s'incline la première fois, la forme du corps représente le D en langue arabe. On se relève encore une fois, à nouveau le Aleph. Et enfin, quand on est prosterné, c'est la même forme que le M, le mime. Et il expliquait que, en fait, tout le rituel de la prière formait le mot Adam, l'homme, au final. Et donc, pour aller dans le même sens que ce que je disais juste avant, quand l'homme prie, enfin quand on prie, l'homme avec un grand H, quand on prie, on est réellement homme. Et ça me fait, et il appuyait ça en nous rappelant un verset du Coran qui dit, où Allah Azza wa Jal dit, je n'ai créé les hommes et les djinns que pour qu'ils m'adorent. Et il expliquait que c'était à cet instant-là que, en fait, l'homme est réellement homme. Voilà.
So he says also that there's another tradition that is describing the different positions in Salat. I talked about Allah, that is written in the positions of the Salat, but he says also that some masters talk about the fact that it also symbolizes in Arabic the different positions, Alif, Dam, Mim, Adam, which is like human beings. And it's in connection with that verse of the Quran saying, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I have created the humans and the jinns, the spirits, only for them to worship me. So that's also the symbol of the fact that when we are meditating, when we are praying, when we are connecting to the source of the universe, of the creation, to the divine spirit, that's how we are truly human. That's when we are really, really human.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very nice. Exactly. Then we are, really human, and it makes me think of what I said before. We are really, really human. We show our humanity. How we say humanity? We are human.
Humanity. Humanity and humility at the same time. That's a good lapsus. Yeah.
I was like, how I say this, but the biggest connection. What I hear is the biggest part of us, our spiritual connection, is still there. So we come here in a body with this human experience, but our essence is God, is God-like, is vibration. So this is like, and it's very easy to understand. If you understand that this is your biggest part, you don't give your biggest part food, it gets dry, you get unhappy. You don't give attention to this, and this makes me think of another thing that they, in many traditions and in Sufis, say sometimes, yes, there's 4 layers of the Quran, depending on the consciousness of the people. And nowadays they are plenty time talking about the dimensions of the earth, like the earth have 3rd dimension, and we are in this climate change because the earth is changing to the 4th dimension. And I read a book about this, and I listened to some people, and of course there's different ways of explaining, and I don't know, but in general they will talk that on earth we have 5 dimensions. 5-dimension people, or 5-dimension people can live here. The 1st dimension is like the very low beings. They hate each other. actually. They just want to kill each other like in the cowboy films. I don't like you, shoot, like that. These people almost are not existing anymore because we are in a higher vibration. It's also telling about evolution of life, how it's going, and that every dimension is subdivided in kind of 7 steps, and every step takes like approximately like 50 lives. So it's not the first time we are here. I don't know if you talk about reincarnation or not. This is also a very double subject sometimes in Islam. And I kind of start to understand why. Because, yeah, we only have one life, we have one soul. But this soul is coming back until we go to like another planet or another life cycle. And this is very big. This is not about one human life. This is what I understand. So this vibration is talking about this. That people now, we come at the end of times, the more people now incarnated in this 4th and 5th dimension, which is not so easy to live because the Earth is 3rd dimension. We are kind of a special planet in this. This is why all the Galactic Federation really focused on Earth. We are really like a test case kind of thing, or like very interesting, because not many planets have this 5-dimension kind of people, this diversity on one planet. Most of the time you have one planet, one dimension, and these people live happily together, or they can find each other easily. But here we have a mix of 5 dimensions. This is why people can be so different from each other. If you understand the system, it makes it so much easier that you say that, yeah, I don't need to connect with these people, or I don't have anything to do with these people. I passed this level. I have gone through this too. I don't judge that these people can only hate, for example. If I judge myself still, because I was once like that. And this is so nice if you read it, and also nowadays in this evolution, when you see it, with the connections also with Quran now, and this growing innovative thing about Islam, that they say there is 4 layers of Quran. And lately I think, like, yes, 4 layers, there are 5 dimensions on Earth, and the 5th dimension for me is the connection of understanding everything. You don't need Quran, like you don't need a book, like the story with Shams and Rumi. At a certain moment, he threw his books in the water. And of course, Rumi is first my books, his whole library, his whole life kind of thing. His soul is going to break down because all his knowledge was based on the books. He wasn't free like Shams. So Shams wants to show him, you don't only connect with these books, or you can learn and you can take it, but at a certain moment, you have to let go the books. In Buddhism, they say you have to, at a certain moment, you kill the Buddha. You kill the Buddha. It's like, this is the biggest teacher, this is my master, yeah? And then at a certain moment, they talk like, you kill the Buddha. Shock with many people, of course. And this means, like, at the end, you have to do it. You find your connection, your way, and you trust your guidance system, what you came with. Your angels, your light beings, anything, your light beings on Earth, or soul family, they talk about. But you have to do it. And coming back to these dimensions, it was for me so interesting to see that, yeah, this 5 dimension, we can talk about Islam, Buddhism, with at the end, holistic way of life, or spirituality in general. We can connect, and we talk in one language, like the people of Babylon. They don't understand, yeah, because they don't connect. Even we don't speak the same language, in a vibrational way, we kind of will understand, or we pray together, we feel like vibrationally, this feels nice for me, you know, I feel connected with these people, and you will be attracted to this kind of mosque or place to connect with people, because you have an intuition. And this is so strong. You can, this is actually very easy. You come into a room, you check the room, and it's like, which person I'm going to talk to now? You're going to have a feeling. And you're going to go to this person, and this will probably, yeah, the most right person. You have, yeah, certain thinking also, like this person, like that. But if you follow your instinct, this already tell you. And this is again vibrational. Emotion, yeah, you can call it emotion, but it's connected with spirit. It's intuition telling you your emotion. You become happy, you become spontaneous, and spontaneous is the opposite of obsession. I have to do it like that. I don't do like that, or I don't do it now. I become crazy, and this is like you know, or I have to do it because my mother told me like that. You are in an obsession. And the other thing, if you're connected with your soul, with your intuition, your instinct, also sometimes you can, yeah, there's a distinction, but it's most of the time the same. You do spontaneous, you don't think. And this is a big difference. This was for me also a big eye opener to know that when I was in obsession, like I have to do it and it's not right not to do it, you know, it's like, no, this is not right. I have to calm down. If I calm down, there come like a spontaneous moment, like, yes, now I want to do, and it can be just washing the dishes, yeah. But at this moment, somebody call, you know, something else happen, or you on the way, or it's about simple things. Every step, like, kind of is like they say written, and is already clear. And it's so simple sometimes, but this make you go to the next step. And yeah, you have to wash your dishes as you have to go to work, but you will feel it, what you have to do next. And coming back to the dimensions again, what I want to share more in this, or you have questions, maybe this is clear. Somebody read before about these dimensions? The people, this will become like.
Sorry, there's a neuropsychological study in MRI, in scanner. They have put someone who was able, he said that he was able to get out of his body, that his soul was able to travel to other planets and to see angels and spirits outside of Earth. And people thought his entire life that he was crazy. But those two scientists, they put him in a scanner to see what was happening to his brain and to his body when he was experiencing those extra body experiences. And they have written a book about all the scientific facts that they have measured, studying his body and his spirit while he was having those experiences. And this is very interesting, you know. This is very interesting to see that some people are losing weight because his body was lighter when his soul was getting out of his body, and still up to now they could not explain how is it possible. And the function of his brain while he was conscious, but he was meditating, and he said, okay, now I'm feeling I'm outside of my body, I'm traveling. The scanner of his brain was different when he was experiencing that kind of extra body experiences. And up to now, those scientists are like, guys, we're just telling you what we have seen on the screen. We're not saying he's telling the truth. We're not saying that his soul or whatever is out of his body, but how could you explain that? And that's very interesting to read that book. And this is not the first study about that.
Yes, in general, they say, like, science, if you are a Muslim, you believe Allah first. You believe inspiration first. You don't need scientific evidence. But of course, it helps. And it's the opposite way. We have a question. We are we wondering something. We are a scientist, me too. And then you start looking for answer. Until you get, your mind is so tired of the same question, and you have in every corner, every book, and have, you know, hammered every person, like, come on, give me answer. And then the mind is tired, then inspiration can come, because you stop thinking. Like Einstein say, the solution will never come from the same vibration or the same dimension than the problem. You have to go higher. And it's only when the mind is tired when you can let go. But we are so addicted to thinking ourselves out, but this never works. We think, we can understand something, but vibrationally or emotionally, you don't really get it. You have to, like, really get it in every way. Then you can let go. And opposite, you have to open yourself also in every way to let this come in. As long as you have kind of resistance, it's not going to come in. So then, yeah, we use the mind and the mind use us kind of thing. But if it's tired, we have done our job also, because we keep looking, we don't give up. Then it's tired. Then we really give up because we have looked in any way. Then the spirit can come in. And this is also, yeah, a really nice thing. And everybody is different in this way. People are, this is not a problem. We are now in this time. And I think we can really also yeah, how many studies you did? How you know, you look also in every corner for the Quran and everything to find out. Yeah, I think you can relate to that.
And someday you have to stop. Yes, it's true. And you have to meditate more. It's very true. Yes, yes.
Yeah, just go doing the dishes, you know. They call it karma yoga. And you know, I do the same. I'm a thinking mind. And then suddenly you're fed up. It's like, now I'm going overheated. Yeah, you know, it's just time enough. And then I do simple things like washing my clothes and you know, because this have to happen also. But then the inspiration comes. Yes, because yes. I'm washing the clothes and I don't think of my problem or my the thing I'm looking for. I'm really out of my mind doing the simple things. I concentrate on sorting the clothes and I'm doing my thing. Then suddenly my answer come. Not when I expected it, but then I start looking and like wanting the answer now. I let go, it comes. Even like you go to your car, you forget your keys. You don't know where are your keys. You are nervous. You don't know where it is. You say, okay, Father, I will walk. You let go, and then you start walking. It's like, okay, I put them there, and you know it again.
I think that Alban wanted to say something, maybe.
C'était pour réagir à ce que vous disiez sur le scanner. Ce expliqué juste avant, du coup. J'avais lu, il y a un médecin, je crois, américain, qui, bon, pour aller dans un phénomène qui nous rejoint un peu, sur les expériences de mort imminente, les EMI, il y avait tout un tas de théories qui disaient que au moment du décès, ou du moins quand une personne faisait une expérience de mort imminente, le cerveau sécrétait une hormone qui provoquait des hallucinations et qui faisait que la personne avait soit une vision de la pièce dans laquelle elle était alors qu'elle était plus consciente, soit qu'elle avait une vision encore même des pièces à côté ou d'ailleurs encore. Et les médecins en question et les psychologues qui travaillaient sur le sujet ont réussi à isoler, entre guillemets, la partie du cerveau responsable de cette hallucination, et ils ont dit que le phénomène de mort imminente pouvait être expliqué par l'activité de cette partie-là, de ce cortex-là du cerveau, à ce moment-là. Et ce même médecin, qui d'ailleurs a écrit un livre là-dessus, a fait lui-même une expérience de mort imminente à la suite d'un accident. Et il se trouve que cette partie-là de son cerveau, pendant son expérience de mort imminente, était non fonctionnelle. Et il a montré que cette expérience-là voulait dire que, au final, il pourrait y avoir une vie de l'esprit indépendamment du corps. Et que donc... Oui.
So he said that there's a scientist, also a neuroscientist in the USA, who did a study about, imminent death experiences, IDE, something like this, imminent death experiences.
Is it near-death experience called?
Near-death experience, thank you, yes, that's it. Yeah. People are about to die, and now they can sometimes scan their brain while they are in that state, and he said that there's a hormone that is produced in your brain when you are about to die, and that is giving you hallucinations. So that's the very pragmatic, very scientific, very dogmatic, in a way, representation of that experience, of that kind of experiences. They say, oh yeah, they see things because there is a hormone, fear and stress and so on, that is produced because of that state, and that's why they are hallucinating. But that guy, he studied several cases, including himself, and he had that kind of visions when he was about to die one day, and that part of his brain that was supposed to produce that kind of representations in his mind was not functioning at that time. So he concluded that it is possible to have visions without the support of your brain. So there's like a part of your representations of your spiritual experiences that are not relying 100% on your anatomical brain, you know, on your body. So for him, it was very clear that you could not explain everything by body body facts only, biological facts only.
Yeah, and in general, science always is later than the reality, because already everything is there, and we only accept it if we have, like, we see it, we believe it. And it's the opposite. First have to believe it, then you know, actually, then you can see it.
Yes.
This is the Islamic way, yeah. You believe, and science is the opposite way. I don't believe. I have to see it first, or I have to check it first. So it's always later. Normal. We go behind. Any university is behind on life. So these people who knows things, who channel from the, you know, the Akasha Chronics. You heard of this? In Ayurveda, this is called, or in Hinduism, the Akasha Chronics is, in Islam they say everything is noted, like we have books of everything and nothing gets lost also. So Allah knows everything, the angels know everything, and they call it the Akasha Chronics, and everything you can recall. Some people can recall many lives and everything, and some details, like it's like how it is impossible. Some people have like really entrance to this, but it's true. Not and people are really some specialized in it, or people you have had kind of, you need a certain level of respect and consciousness to have entrance to this Akasha Chronics. But this exists, and you can take everything from there, because everything is already there. We don't do anything new. Everything is there. We think we are a high developed planet. Other planets are laughing with us because we're really slow in technique and everything. And this is another thing I want to come back to, the dimensions. Like if we know, like this will be discovered soon, they say. But some people already know this because they connect, they have this consciousness, and they can recall it, and they know that, yeah, the peace people, we come from, we have different dimensions, because these people have had so many lives and so many, like, you know, you grow, you can only grow forward, you don't go backward, never. But we are in a different evolutionary state sometimes. And like I say, first dimension, not on Earth anymore. The second dimension is groups of people killing, like we can call it the Illuminati, which have kind of what they say still. It's like Star Wars. Yeah, you see Star Wars, you can connect, you can really understand. This was from the 70s. If you read Star Wars, this guy have like perfect image, or if you understand the Bible and of course Islam, but this I don't know so well. Even in Surah Al-Fatiha, Lord of all the worlds. It's not Lord of the world. Lord of all the worlds, he say. So it's the whole universe. It's all the galaxies. It's all the worlds. It's very large. So this second dimension know the world very well and have really lowest vibration still. We're going up to a higher vibration. This is the end of times, we call it also. And in Christianity say the dirty pit have to open, you know, all the dirt have to come out. So we have to look at it, we have to put a light on it, then it can come out. We can learn from it like that. We understand, and we don't want, we take it out individually and collectively. In Islam, there's the whole nice story, but I don't know it, about the Dajjal and how is it? Dajjal and?
Dajjal.
Yeah.
Dajjal.
Yes.
Messiah, the negative Messiah.
Yeah. What will come out at the end of the world and what will happen then? Huh?
Yeah, he will talk to people in several languages, and I mean, there's many traditions about that. We're not sure they're true traditions, but in any case, it's part of Islam as a culture, not maybe as a spirituality, but Islam speaks about in several traditions about a man, the Antichrist, coming at the end of times, speaking in different languages, being very ugly, but very attractive at the same time, very charismatic and ugly at the same time, and speaking about to people about spirituality, but not to help them, but to fool them. And only the authentic people who are their own Khalifa, their own sources of inspiration will be able to see through his manipulations and so on and so forth. Yes.
Yeah. This is also what this woman is talking about in this dimension. They can really like change themselves and cover up, and they have certain colors that you can see the aura. This will become more and more clear, and the more you charge yourself with higher vibration, the more you are connected, because this is all lower vibration. Just at the end, you don't really have to worry. If you pray and you connect with these higher values, this is like the shaitan who's shy of the light. Same thing. You have so much light and you are so strong in your light, the dark cannot touch you anymore. And this is why it's so important to keep up the good work and to only trust yourself at the end. Because you never really know. Only you will have some signs or things, or you listen to your intuition. You don't listen, you can fail. But this is, an important thing. And this is true, like you don't connect, you don't charge yourself, you don't get along with the right people, you don't make it easy for yourself, you stick with wrong people, At the end, you are responsible only for your life. You are not responsible for any other people. And we many times have this saving role. Like we think we have to save the world or to save another one. And this is not right. We only come here for ourselves. And this sounds, for me still kind of sometimes. But they say, you are the only way, you are the only one who knows who you are. Nobody else knows. And for this, you need to connect and to follow your own guide. And the other one, by showing this example, the other one have to do the same or can do the same and see how lucky you are or how good you are and how happy and how healthy. And they can do the same. You can kind of teach them or learn them, say, I do like that. Like in Islamic way, this is protection. You do like that, you are protected. You charge yourself, you do like that. So you don't have to worry. Even if you worry, you go to lower vibration. So it's like, just keep up with easy things, what you like, your heart like. And you want to be happy and have easy life and have everything. And this is when you connect with Muslim people, religious, spiritual people who charge themselves, who go higher, who want to be happy, who want to have good feeling, good experience, all this. Of course, we have first the other one, but the more we sort out the dirt also in ourselves, the more it's sorted out, there comes an end to it. So the more you find your soulmates, they do the same. We help each other. To stick around the fire where it is hot, where it's nice and cozy, you stick there. It's nice. You have to make it hard and uncomfortable. Life can be really easy.
Inshallah. Maybe we can close up with the last turn of inputs, and then we can end the session. But I wanted to say thank you very much because it was very interesting, and I like very much those intersectional representations, which are helping us by going elsewhere than within Islam, are helping us to understand what is the authentic message in Islam, what God is telling us through Islam, through Buddhism, through astrologies, through science. I like that very much. So it's very hard, but you did it from my point of view, in a simple way. So I liked it very much. It's not that easy to make it so clear.
Thank you very much. I'm so thankful for the opportunity to share and to, yeah, like I tell you, like everywhere I was shut out and you know, I wasn't welcome anywhere. Really, until now, I was afraid also for this evening. And another thing is that I'm still in recovery. You know, I'm still tired. I'm feeling better and better all the time because I'm understanding really how important it is. I'm always was like, I'm very high sensitive and I feel so much things. And of course, it's like, this situation like that, I eat this food. But at the end, if you charge yourself, you become so strong. This is your biggest immunity, literally. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And because I also read, or one time a sheikh I read, or he telling allergy. What allergy? You just have to connect God. It's like, my God, like, you know, I was like, what you're telling me, this is easier. Yeah, it's easy. It's right. You connect God as long enough until you charge yourself as long as you need. But I couldn't believe that this is so simple, but it's simple but not easy because I need to charge so much. And this is like sometimes hard to understand. But yes, I still in recovery. I need to charge more. I need to go deeper still, to take out, to relax more, and to really live from this inspiration and to follow my inspiration, follow my book, and to not listen to anybody else or to my own voice talking. And because this makes me tired. And yeah, maybe I'm a little bit older than you. I passed 40, and yeah, the more you go over 40, I believe, going to 50, it's like you make yourself tired with your own mind more and more. Yeah. You get really fed up with yourself. You do like that. And then it's so easy to know, yes, life easy. I charge. I let in the nice thing. I open myself. Because you go in resistance, you have cramp, you are stressed, you have pain, you take too much on your shoulder, you have lower back pain because you cramp and you hold your emotion. So it's really time to replenish and to do it in a safe way. You don't have to have hard contacts with your friends or brothers or sisters. You do it in a safe way. You clean your own shit, like they say, or everybody wipes his own front door, we say in Christianity, then the whole street is clean. You heard this expression of me? If everybody wipes in front of his own door, the whole street is clean, we say. So it's the same.
That's what Amina Wadud, you know, the woman imam from California, Amina Wadud, she told me one day when I converted to Islam, I was very dogmatic, and that was Islam for me. That was rigorous, fascistic, very strict Islam that I learned. And then I get out from that, understanding that all that shit that people was sending to my face and to my ears was not Islam. It was their own shit that they were giving me. And then I cleaned up between the shit and the...
yeah, exactly. But it's you. She had this vibration in herself, and this is what they talk about. It's always about you. It's not about the situation, another person. It's always about you. And it's like...
And as I said, Ibn Arabi was a big master of Sufism, Ibn Arabi, because he was that's how I understand it. He was one of the first sheikh who was so deep into knowledge and so deep into meditation also. And he was also teaching us that there's something that we should not communicate to everyone. Sometimes you have to be, and also to ourselves. Sometimes we don't have to show up too much truth at once to ourselves. This is recalling the story of Musa alayhi salam in the Quran, when he said to God in one of the verses of the Quran, I want to see you because I'm feeling so much in love with you. I want to see you, oh God. And God told him, you could not see me because it's too much for your own spirit now. You're too small for me. But look at that mountain. I'm going to show myself to that mountain. If that mountain doesn't collapse, I'm going to show myself to you. And of course, God showed himself or herself or itself to the mountain. And the mountain is just, vanishing because it's too much light for the mountain. And then Musa is like, وَخَرَّ مُوسَى سَعِيقًا. and Musa is like falling on the earth because it's too much. And then when he got back to consciousness, it say, this is very important. He said, I did not take care of myself. Oh God, please forgive me. You know better than me my own soul. You know. You know, sometimes you want to take so much light and positiveness, and that it's becoming negative emotions and energies because it's too much. And being very generous, and I know that you're very generous, like a bit like me, I think. We want to share and we want to communicate, and life is so beautiful and we're so enthusiastic, but sometimes we exhaust ourselves with that. Because it's too much, going too much positive energy. So sometimes it's good to, you know, just be in contemplation, just observing how life is passing by. Sometimes it's more than enough. And I'm discovering that after my 40s also, I'm discovering that just contemplating life is something even better than enjoying it and understanding it and asking questions and going deep into meditation. All of that is beautiful, but not too much.
Yeah.
Sirat al-Mustaqim. Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim. It's the right path, the middle path. Not too much, not enough, just in the middle.
Yes, and also if you think about it, the Prophet have his first inspiration when he was 42.
Yeah, it's true.
Then I can say yes. He was also 42, and we died first time like 33, like the ego, like Jesus dying on the cross. I have a very difficult time also then. Really, this ego have to be killed like first time. And I went through my first like narcissistic abuse experience. I recall it later. But it's just like that. And I had the same, like, I'm still tired. I want to do this lecture because I really want to share and everything, but I'm tired. And sometimes I feel like I'm falling out. I can talk, you know, I'm relaxed, and I know everything. And then I say, what I'm talking now tonight? I started my talk and it's like, my God, because I am not really from this place of replenishment. And I wanted to say this is, in general, what they say also about a lecture, what you remember is everything is maybe one or two things who have touched you. All the rest you will forget anyway. So all the thing is like random information to make the whole thing.
But it's very important to keep in mind that we always, you know, we still have the child that we used to be like 40 years ago within us, in our brain. The memories, the feelings, the trauma, all of that is still here. We learned over years and years how to cope with that, how to master that, how to be more powerful, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. But it's still here. We have, I think, not to be too strict with ourselves, because sometimes we have the right to act like a foolish child, you know, and to be emotionally overwhelmed. This is also part of the process, to go through those emotions in a cycle again and again, you know, and to recall the fact that it's still here. And it's good because we still feel alive when we allow ourselves to feel those emotions, because, you know, meditating all the time and being cut from the, like some Buddhists do, it's too much, like some Muslims do, it's too much. And the Prophet used to say to some people who wanted to live like monks in a cave, cut from the society, in one tradition he said, La ruhbaniyata fil Islam. There's no monk life in Islam. Islam is not teaching us to be monks closed up in monasteries. And unlike monasteries, but it's not our tradition. Islam came to show another middle path, you know, it's another stage of human history. Yes.
This was one of the other things that when I first went to Egypt and I saw these people praying like as a normal thing in their life, this was just integrated in life. It wasn't a thing you have, you know, you can just put your carpet and this is integrated, and you fast and work. and this is not a spiritual life and a normal life. No, it's holistic life also. It's integrated. And it's like you say, you cannot make money. You don't pray. You first gonna make money for your family. This is more important. You are here on earth, and yeah, you need to make money for your family.
And if there's food, you eat first. If there's adhan, you eat first, and then you go pray. If it's time to pray, but you eat first. Yes, absolutely. It's very pragmatic.
Yeah. Oh,
maybe we can close up now, if it's okay with all of you. Is it fine? Yes. So maybe we can do a last prayer. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Peace be on the messengers, and thanks God for all your blessings, and thanks brothers and sisters and sister for your beautiful interactions tonight. I hope to see you next Friday, 7:30. We're going to speak about, I don't know, we have to check the agenda. I forgot, but I think it's about I forgot, but it's going to be an interesting session, inshallah. So see you next Friday. Jumu'ah Mubarak.
And see you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my sister. Thank you so much. It was a blessing to hear you tonight. Very much.
Oh, thank you. This really makes my evening.
Yasser,
thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Maybe you had the audio record of the session.
Sorry, could you repeat that? Were you talking to me?
Did you record the session tonight, the audio file?
Oh, yes, it's recorded, yeah.
The last week one also?
I have to check the last week one, but this one is recorded, yeah.
Excellent. If you can send it to me by email, that would be wonderful.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I will.
Can you send it to me also? Is this possible, or?
Yeah, it's possible, yeah. I will send you the link, yeah.
My first lecture in Islamic group for me about holistic Islam. This was really like wonderful, and
Holistic Islam, beautiful title. I will put a video on YouTube on the CALEM channel, as we always do. So you will have it on the channel, and maybe our brother Yasser could put it also on Skype or by email.
All right. Yeah.
Wonderful. This is such a relief for me, and yeah, really thank you so much. You cannot believe like how important this was for me to open up and to talk in an Islamic group again for the first time after all my years of shutting up and not doing anything with Muslims and not coming out, and like for me this is such now a relief going up and yeah, think that breaking the ice and having now the first step in. I hope it can grow, and yeah, we can. And now it was so nice to hear that Michael Privot is from Belgium. I really thought he was French.
No, he's Belgian. His seminar of last week is on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, so you can listen to it. The sound, unfortunately, is not as good as Yasser's audio files. It's not a very good audio file, but it's still better than nothing. Yeah, and it was a very good session also.
Yes, wonderful.
Inshallah, we will continue to break the ice next week and the week after.
This is very nice. I love you.
We are planning a weekend in Marseille at the Institute end of April, and another weekend end of May, beginning of June in Turkey, as we said. So inshallah, we will keep you informed for that.
You know where in Turkey?
In Turkey, it's going to be Konya and then Kurdistan, because there's a lot of prophets and imams who are buried with mausoleums and tombs and museums about history of religion and so on there. So Konya with the Sheikh Rumi that is buried there, and then southeast of Turkey, inshallah. It's going to be the end of Ramadan for Eid also. We will have Eid there. Yes, and end April in Marseille.
So end of May is this in Turkey, yeah?
Yes. End of April in Marseille and beginning of June in Turkey.
Okay. Konya and, sorry, the other city?
Konya and then Kurdistan, the southeast of Turkey.
Kurdistan,
So I forgot the name of the city, but it's the city where Sheikh Musab you know, the Imam who is doing the second level sessions, Sheikh Musab, our friend is gonna take us to his home city because he was born there, and it's a lot of history, he said, so religious.
Yeah, yes, Turkey is a really rich cultural country. Wow, yeah. Okay, inshallah, I'm at 300 kilometers of Konya.
You see? You can be our neighbors. Please come.